In this video we see if I can finish an actual game of Warhammer before Eternal Crusade can find a match to play. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Hayes. I've spent years playing the best MMORPG games available. Now it's time to do the opposite and find the worst of the worst. I'm going to play them all so you don't have to. Join me on my journey through the most awful MMOs I can find. Drop a like on the vid and sub to the channel for more awful MMOs and ring the bell so you don't miss a single video. If you're enjoying the series, consider supporting through the Patreon, link in the description below. Today we're playing Warhammer 40k Eternal Crusade. It's free on Steam, it's just under 13 gigs, so let's praise the Emperor and give it a go. Quick background before we start. I love both MMO games and Warhammer 40k in general, so this to me seems like a perfect match. The endless scope and scale of the 40k universe lends itself perfectly to an online game, from epic space battles to brutal ground skirmishes or small elite kill teams stalking through crowded city streets, hunting down gene stealer cults. The 40k universe is absolutely ideal for an MMO. So as I've never played this, I'm trying to temper my expectations, but the fanboy in me wants this to be good. First thing I notice, it doesn't load in full screen. Not a major problem. I'll sort that later. Then the behavior logo pops up. I know that company. They made Dead by Daylight and had a hand in Defiance 2050. Two games I actually quite liked. The game loads and the music just really hits that epic 40k ambience. Maybe some background for anyone not familiar with this setting. Warhammer 40k is a tabletop miniatures battle game. You build, then paint small plastic models from various factions. The in-game story is it's the 41st millennium, and there is only war. Humans have almost conquered most of space, but then there's crazy alien races fighting back against us. The poster boy for the human military is the Space Marine, a massive 7-foot-tall mountain of muscle clad in power armor, but you've also got the green-skinned orcs, the ancient Egyptian-inspired Necrons, the bug-like Tyranids, and many more. The whole setting is hugely over the top and comically overpowered. In absolutely any discussion of who would win between this sci-fi show or that sci-fi show, it's 40k. All the time, every time. It's not even close. The Star Trek human fleet, the entire Halo franchise, everything in Firefly, literally the entire Star Wars canon could team up together and not even be a match for the insane power levels of some stuff in the 40k storyline. So the music hits this sci-fi gothic tone, chanting voices, low strings. You feel like you've walked into a church, but you're also surrounded by heavily armed religious fanatics, which is exactly what Space Marines are. Before we can start, I need to create an account, which fails because I had a weak password. But they don't tell you this on the creation screen. They don't say what you need to include, it just flashes up once you click finish. So I change it, then fail again because my nickname must be different to my ID. Doesn't say this anywhere, just lets you know you've failed. We're finally in, and straight to max graphics we go. If we lag, I'll turn it down, but I like starting at the top. Character creation. There are 4 playable factions: the Space Marines, humanity's good boys; the Chaos Space Marines, humanity's ex-good boys who were tempted by the Chaos gods of death, plague, magic, or sex; Orcs, who are actually the only faction in 40k who are thrilled to be here and just love fighting; and Eldar, the spindly thin space elves who Games Workshop seem to have entirely forgotten about. Within each faction you can choose your specific clan. This just changes your colour, but there's a really strange design choice with how this selection process works. Okay, so I choose a faction. Let's say Space Marines, let's say Orcs, doesn't matter. And then I have these specific colour choices. As I hover the mouse over each one, it changes, and when I click a choice, it locks it in. So what do you think would happen if I click on another colour choice? You think it'd just change to that one, right? Well, wrong. Clicking again doesn't choose that choice. What it does is unlock the choice. It just means I can move the mouse around again and then click again locks another one in. Whoever came up with this needlessly complicated system, why? I go with Ultramarines because I'm a filthy casual and the game asks if I want a tutorial. It's probably a good idea because Warhammer 40k is itself quite complicated, so I queue up for it and then we wait for it to load. And wait. And then we wait some more. And the process of waiting will become something of a running theme through this review. The tutorial starts. It's a third-person over-the-shoulder shooter, WASD movement, hold shift to sprint, and spacebar is roll. Scrolling the mouse wheel changes weapons, right-click is melee attack, and left-click is fire. And the first thing I noticed is the models and the sound effects. These things are spot on. This model is so accurate to the tabletop game. The walking and running sound is exactly how I'd imagined a Space Marine should sound, and the shooting is so damn powerful. Your standard bolter gun actually fires tiny rocket-powered shells, so this was exactly the sound it needed. We're introduced to supply crates, places to restock your ammo, then thrown into combat training against everyone's favourite bugs, the Tyranids. Again, the models are perfect. This first combat encounter against a small Tyranid, however, is weak. The gun isn't super accurate, meaning you need to be quite close to get any consistent hits, and the melee attack causes you to shift a large distance forward whenever you use it. Meaning combat encounters using melee in a small enclosed area like this feels a little bit like an ice skating dance, and once the enemy actually closes the distance on you, the encounter gets a lot less fun. You're wildly swinging the camera around to see the enemy and blasting or slashing haphazardly away. This system feels like it would be absolutely fantastic in large-scale bloody battles with lines of players all working together, but it does not lend itself well to tight solo encounters. The next problem is the walking animation. I'm lagging after each step. It's almost as if the walking animation is only a single stride long and the game has to reset it each time, which makes the movement feel really staggered. I think maybe this is a graphics issue, so I turn the settings down to the lowest and nope. Same issue, still there. Walking is stuttering after every single step. I gave this a quick Google search and found this thread on the official forums from a few years ago, so I gave it a click and oh god, these are the official forums. The website isn't secure and the formatting, oh god, just look at this. I tried this on Google Chrome and Firefox, same issue. This is not a good look for an official forum. Back to the tutorial and I learn about capturing points, so now I'm expecting this game to involve a lot of defending A, B or C. Then we play around with loadouts. We can equip ourselves with various game-accurate weapons. I'm going to go for a las cannon because everyone knows they are the best way to take down tanks. And now we're released into the garrison, the end of the tutorial, and we can run around? Seriously, there's nothing to do here. It's just a large, empty garrison structure with more tooltip pop-ups. No enemies, no challenge. It's just a place to be for a bit. This feels lacking. Shouldn't I have some sort of quest, or storyline, or personal journey to go on? But nope, it just tells me to explore the garrison, then press escape, return to the main menu and join a battle. Back to the hub screen, menu on the top left, top option is Battle Now. The description allows me to join a battle immediately, so I click it. And wait. And wait. And I think we have different expectations of the word immediately, game. While queuing, I decide I may as well explore the world map, and then it hits me. This isn't an MMO. This is an instanced, squad-based shooter. There is no shared overworld or common zone, no quests, no storyline, no character journey. You simply make your character, then queue up for timed games. This is less World of Warcraft and more Call of Duty, but Steam advertised it as an MMO, so my god, we are treating it as one. On the world map, you can click to see the various land sections that your faction is currently fighting over. However, you can't join these fights because that is a premium feature, and we'll come back to this later. The only thing you can queue up for specifically as a free player is one of the two Tyranid game modes, PvE specific dungeons, either running through a very short linear dungeon called a lair, or surviving endless waves in a wave mode. I cancel the battle queue that I'm in and queue up for both Tyranid things. It fills in about 5 minutes and we're off. It's a team shooter. We've got a safe room to prepare in, then we skip away to shoot some Xenos. However, these Xenos are really not in the mood to be shot, and unlike me, they're really good in melee combat. The gameplay, what little I experienced in this mode, isn't awful. The character is slow and heavy, as expected of a guy in power armor, while the enemy is fast and nimble, meaning gunning them down from a distance is always better than fighting them up close. We managed to make it to the third wave before being slaughtered, and despite being a Space Marine, I'm killed incredibly quickly. I thought you guys were meant to be the best of the best of the best, legendary warriors. You fell pretty damn fast to one of the weaker Tyranids. Once we're dead, there's an after-battle report and a mandatory 30-second wait before we can return to the hub. This is good, it gives me time to reflect on what a failure of a Space Marine I am. Back on the main menu, mess around with the Create Class function. It just allows you to customize your equipment, except you don't have anything new. You either have to play a few matches and earn that, or just buy it. I don't have the experience to say if this is a pay-to-win or not game, but being able to buy a better gun seems like it might help. So I queue up again and... is this it? This reminds me of being 16, sitting in a Modern Warfare lobby and endlessly queuing up for games, except Modern Warfare actually had, you know, people playing it. I wait for the queue to pop, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait some more. Might as well check out the premium shop. So you need to buy 20,000 credits to become premium, and the cheapest way to do that is to spend £16 on the 21,000 credit pack. 16 quid just to choose which battle I want to join in with. It seems steep. Look, this queue just isn't happening, so I cancel it, I go back to the Tyranid game mode, let's try the lair mode. The lair starts pretty quickly, then I realise why. It's put me in solo. One Space Marine against a station full of Tyranids. This should be fun. Also, the lag has disappeared and the game runs smoothly. It's actually quite nice when it's running properly. Let's see how these bugs fare against the might of the Adeptus Astartes. So turns out taking a massive heavy weapon might not be the best choice, so let's switch loadouts and try again, and it crashed. Now nasty bugs might have ripped apart an Astartes, but I've got 3 more character slots, so let's make an Orc. The same odd clan selection mechanic with the locking and the unlocking. Seriously, who made this? How? Why? I have so many questions. The Orc tutorial loads, and loads, and then loads some more, and eventually it starts and it's the same. It's the same location. There is an Orc inside an Imperial garrison and no one seems concerned. Same layout, same instructions, same everything. You even fight the same Tyranid. I mean, I wasn't expecting a massive change here, but an Orc tutorial in an Orc camp would have been nice. Switching loadouts as an Orc allows you to cosplay as a Tau battlesuit. Now we get to explore the garrison. Again! Hooray! I might as well actually explore this area for a bit, seeing as the queues don't pop and the PvE against Tyranids seems insanely hard, but the garrison isn't bad for what it is, and I finally discover vehicles! So you've got several vehicle spawn points, kind of like Borderlands. You can summon the one you want. Each point gives you a choice of tank or transport, and each vehicle has a limited carrying capacity. When inside a vehicle, you can see the empty seats on the vehicle icon. One player drives and the others man the guns. The driver doesn't have a gun, but you can run people over. Vehicles handle fine. This is giving me really strong Command & Conquer Renegade vibes, which isn't a bad thing. I liked that game. Driving the vehicles is enjoyable for a bit, but the garrison is still a huge empty lot. So let's queue for another lair and bring a more balanced class this time. The average Orc boy fares just as well as the average Space Marine. I mean, at this point, honestly, I just want to play as a Tyranid. Mandatory 30-second wait after death before I can queue up again. Is this it? Like, is this the extent of the PvE in this game? A wave survival or a seemingly impossible linear dungeon? This seems really lacking in content. Alright, tried and tested Orc tactic, more Dakka. You can make stuff more deader by biggerifying the gun. Let's test this out. Well, I survived the first bit, so maybe there's something to this Orc logic. I'm running low on ammo, but I brought one single refill pack. Also, I see that I'm timed on these missions. Good to know. The second room is nice, big open area, lots of walkways, and I realised my mistake almost instantly. I started mowing down Tyranids without refilling my ammo, so it's just a matter of time before, yep, swarmed again and another 30-second wait. Space Marines and Orcs are both taken down. Maybe it's time to pray to the Chaos Gods, so I make a third character. A Chaos Space Marine from the Alpha Legion, and as 40k lore dictates, I call him Alfarius. Which is taken. So Alfarius 2 it is. Also taken. Alfarius 3. Okay, yeah, that's taken. Fine. You know what, Chaos Gods? Fine. I was trying to play seriously, but no more of that. Alpha Legion Chaos Marine Fluffy McCuddlebuttons is here. Come on, Fluffy of the McCuddlebuttons clan, let's go kill some Tyranids. I'll do the PvP soon, but for now I'm amazed that this really is the extent of the PvE in this game. 2 game modes, both against Tyranids. The Tyranids seem to slaughter me whenever they get close, so let's beat them at their own game and go for a melee build with a chainsword. Without a doubt, the best improvement of both the chainsaw and the sword. Yeah, how'd you like me now, you stupid gribbly bugs? So apparently Tyranids just don't care if you've got a chainsword or not. Is this game mode balanced for solo play? Let me just Google that real quick. So it seems that both Lair and Wave Defense mode are balanced around having 3 players and are almost impossible to finish solo. The Steam forums are full of people asking why it's so hard. Well, I say full of people, there's like 4. Which, I mean, that's still 4 times the player base of Bloodlines of Prima. Let's try the Horde mode solo. Can a highly trained, genetically superior warrior blessed by the Chaos Gods use his razor-sharp knife to kill the lowest of the low Tyranids? No. No, he cannot. So the PvE mode is basically totally out unless you're going in with a pre-made party, so let's try the PvP. Remember, you can't choose which battle you want to queue for. You've got to just join the general battle queue and wait. So I join, and wait, and wait, and I wait some more. Maybe I'll read some reviews while waiting. I pre-ordered this piece of shit for $200 when they told us they would make an MMO, then changed direction to something far less innovative and then made it free to play. Go eat a dick. It's been a year since the last update. The game died slowly, and it's thanks to devs that promised too much and couldn't deliver. Don't buy it. Go play Warhammer 40k Space Marine. It's so dead, the Russians don't play it anymore. I've been waiting for about 5 minutes now and this queue hasn't popped, so I'm wondering if I can actually paint some real Warhammer models while waiting. So I set up the webcam, get out the Indomitus box and start working on a few Necrons. Look, I'll be honest, I set this up as a joke, a throwaway gag for this video. But 10 minutes in and it's still trying to find a game, and I'm making some decent painting progress. By 15 minutes, I've forgotten the game is even running, the music is quite nice, and I'm just glancing up to check every now and again. It's still searching for a match. Maybe it's because I'm queuing as a Chaos Marine, and not the poster boys, the Ultramarines. Surely there's more Ultramarine players, so the matches should be quicker. So I end the queue, log back onto the Ultramarine, and queue up again. Then I get back to painting. 30 more minutes pass, and still no game. So I have an idea. It's stupid at first, but eventually it slowly seems more realistic. Can I play a full actual game of Warhammer 40k before this queue pops? Right, got the basic battleground set up, got my phone timer in shot so you know that I'm not time skipping this. This is an actual real thing done. The models are set up, they're not all painted yet, but I mean, come on, huzzah. Necrons versus Space Marines. The Necrons are rocking a squad of 10 warriors with Gauss flayers, 2 units of Scarabs protecting them, 2 Scorpec destroyers, and a Canoptech reanimator to help with those resurrection protocols. On the other side, 2 squads of 5 Primaris assault intercessors backed up by a venerable dreadnought armed with twin las cannon. I'll be using the Death Watch rules for this guy. Got my dice, got the rulebook, got a timer showing on my phone so you know I did this. Let's go. Roll off for the first turn and it goes to the Necrons. The destroyers begin by advancing up the flank toward the first assault squad. I want to get them locked up in melee combat quickly. The 10 warriors blast 10 Gauss shots into the squad of Space Marines. Ballistic skill 3, weapon strength 4 against the Marines' toughness of 4 means I'm hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s. 5 shots hit, weapon strength 4, toughness 4. 3 wounds, Marines have a 3+ save, but the Gauss Flayer has armor pen -1, so it's 4 up saves, 2 saves are made, so 1 damage goes through. The Reanimator is out of range, so that's going to stay where it is. On to Marines, turn 1. Both squads move forward. This lower squad blasts 5 pistol shots into the Skorpek destroyers, 3 hits, 2 wounds, 1 damage goes through. Skorpeks have 3 wounds though, so they are both still alive. The other squad blasts 5 pistol shots into the Necron warriors, amazingly 3 hit, all 3 hits wound, and the Necrons fail all their saves and take the full 3 damage, destroying 3 warriors. The Dreadnought is going to smash the las cannon into the Reanimator, but for this I need to go grab my Deathwatch Codex, make sure I'm getting the numbers right. 2 las cannon shots, 1 hit, 1 wound. The Reanimator now has to make a 6 up save on a D6, and amazingly it makes it, no damage taken. This squad down here are now feeling a bit cocky and decide to charge into the Skorpek destroyers, getting into melee combat with a unit designed for melee combat. It's possibly a bad move, but the Space Marines are arrogant. The Marines make the charge and get 2 attacks each with chainswords, so 10 attacks are thrown against the destroyers. 6 of them hit, but none of them wound. Not a great round for the Marines. The destroyers get to attack back, landing 1 hit and pushing 1 wound through. Necron's turn 2. The Reanimator moves up the field to get within range of the Dreadnought. The plan is to melt the Dread with the Atomizer Beam. I suddenly remembered to roll for the Necron Reanimation Protocol. Slightly out of order, but I ask my opponent if I'm allowed to do that, and I tell myself that's fine. 2 Necrons get back up. The Warriors unleash another wave of Gauss energy at the Marines. 7 out of 9 shots hit, which is an amazing ratio. Then only 3 wound, and the Marines are able to make all their saves, taking no damage. The Reanimator charges the Atomizer Beam and unleashes all 3 shots into the Dreadnought, and amazingly they all miss, leaving the Dread totally safe. Onto the fight phase, and the destroyers get to hack back into the intercessors. They have 3 attacks each, and of 6 attacks, only 3 land, and none of them wound, the Space Marine armor clearly doing what it was meant to do. The Marines get to retaliate, and the queue has popped! I can actually play Eternal Crusade! It took just over 35 minutes, and most of an actual Warhammer game, but it finally happened. I can finally see what the PvP is like. So the PvP is basically just team-based domination. You capture a point and gain points while the points are held. You must be playing as a tactical class in order to capture a point. The lag seems to disappear. The large open areas lend themselves really well to the hulking movement of a Space Marine, and the long sightlines mean I can see the enemy, but the poor accuracy of most weapons means I still need to be advancing to actually kill them. I spawn a Rhino troop transport and drive that around for a bit. Handles fine, looks perfect, feels substantial. It's not a bad third-person shooter. Now for my first complaint. And this is partly me being bad, but it's mostly design choice. You die way too fast. A few hits takes you down. You do have a recharging shield, but it's clearly made of fairy dust and wishes because a light breeze will destroy it. Then your health is taken out in massive chunks by even basic attacks. It means the moment you find an enemy, there's a flurry of gunfire, and then several seconds later, someone is dead. This annoys me because the gunfights themselves, the brief moments of battle, are decent. The sound, the lighting, the effects, the whole aesthetic is perfectly 40k, grimdark and intense. It's just a huge shame that you don't get to experience it for longer. Remember, you're playing as a Space Marine, a towering beast of muscle and augments. Legends and myths paint you as an almost unkillable angel of death, and yet 3 or 4 knife attacks and you are down. Make the combat encounters last longer. Not just because I clearly suck, but because otherwise you're spending most of your gameplay time respawning, trekking across the map, finding the enemy, then hoping you're not outnumbered, or your 5 seconds of fun becomes 2 seconds of fun. I don't want to play an action shooter where most of the gameplay is travelling. So far this game has made me wait 30 minutes for a match to begin, 30 seconds after each PvP match death, and now adds in large amounts of travel time between very short firefights, which are over in the blink of an eye. The majority of this game isn't actually the good bit, which sucks because the good bit is really good. I'm enjoying the time playing though. It's reminding me of the Command & Conquer shooter Renegade insofar as I'm playing a character in a recreation of a setting that I know and love. There are turrets you can control, which would be useful if every other player didn't know this and just kept out of range of them. I'm clearly not much use solo. Almost no one is. This game seems to favour team tactics and sticking together, but when the enemy are all taking A, I sneak over to C and begin a capture. I'm nervous and a bit twitchy, running from corner to corner and keeping guard. But eventually, the bar fills and I capture a point by myself. Hooray! I'm helping. Eventually we win the battle, and I'm awarded Armour Master for gaining the most experience while in a vehicle. Clearly the time I spent firing the Rhino Top Gun was well spent. Back to the hub. So that game wasn't bad. Maybe I'll try another. I click battle now and it's back to waiting. This time, however, it's much quicker. It only takes 10 full minutes instead of the full 30. The vehicles are pretty awesome. The transports can hold 10 players, not that I ever actually saw 10 players in the same place at the same time, and the tanks are super powerful. However, you can't damage the vehicles at all with regular weapons. If you try, your aiming icon just flashes up with a shield and a red nope symbol through it. This means you have to play as an anti-vehicle class if you're going to try taking down the enemy armour. I try and capture this point. I remember that I'm not playing as a tactical class anymore, so I can't. Then I go and join the rest of my squad. The game is really intense in very short bursts. I mean, if there were more players and more smaller skirmishes going on around the map, then respawning and finding a fight wouldn't be a major issue, but as it stands, it's respawn, run all the way to the middle, fire off a few rounds, and die. Then just repeat. This is clearly an action game. And action games need action. The best part of an action game is the action, and the worst part is the not action. And currently this game, all things considered, from the loading to the match finding to the running, is about 95% not action. If the matchmaking was quicker and the health pool larger, allowing the actual battles to last longer, the player would be involved in the fun bit for a much longer time. The game chat then starts to fill up with accusations of someone on the opposing team cheating. And the word hacker gets thrown around, with players on both sides seemingly calling for a kick. I check the scores and see that one player does have significantly more kills than anyone else, with most players between 3 to 7 kills and this one guy up near 40. Now, I don't know the systems well enough to make a call one way or another. Maybe this guy was just really good. But if everyone is saying it from both sides, and the score difference was so extreme, I'm inclined to believe them. This honestly kind of killed my motivation to continue. I always knew this game would be empty and I wouldn't be great at it, but I was hoping for at least a fair fight. Maybe this guy is just a god at the game and we all suck. But the accusations from both sides did put a sour taste in my mouth. If you go back to the Steam page for this game, you'll see the game description states, "We will not give up," which is just a straight up lie. This game was abandoned by the developers long ago and there are no plans for a grand revival. This is not an MMO, any more than Fortnite, Call of Duty or Counter-Strike is. It's not a bad third-person shooter, but it's not an MMO. The in-game models and atmosphere is super accurate to the 40k design, and the sounds of movement, combat and ambience are perfect. But it's got incredibly difficult PvE, bordering on impossible for solo players, and insanely long match-finding times for the PvP. The PvP games are mostly running from place to place with smaller, intense firefights which end way too soon, meaning it's mostly a game about running and capturing points, not really a game about getting into shootouts. Is it the worst MMO ever? Well, no, because it's not an MMO. It's a squad-based domination third-person shooter that says it's an MMO. But it's also not a good game. Not in the current state anyway. The truth is, it has the potential to be good, but it seems abandoned by Games Workshop and not enough people play it, which is why I award Warhammer 40k Eternal Crusade the entire Tyrannid model range out of 10. Cheers for watching. If you want more worst MMO ever videos, then drop a like or sub to the channel. A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters and Twitch subs who make all my videos possible. And comment down below with any game you think deserves the title. Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter and Discord. And as always, have a great day.